Good morning, Mar. Good morning, Ricardo.
Good morning.
Hi,
Good
João.
morning. Good morning to all that are attending this meeting. We're just about to start our Connect to Value section. Thank you all for joining us today. For those who are here for the first time, just to let you know, we have a comment section, a chat around your screen. So feel free to comment or make any question during our presentation. So today's topic, Connect to Value topic, is connection between aluminum and glass. We've been discussing a couple of topics during this week. Tomorrow we also have another section, same time. Specifically about connections between aluminum and glass, we see this as a huge movement in construction. Lots of architecture features, new buildings. For instance, this picture here on the left, this is where a project in Dubai, so a very big skylight. And the clients and customer come up to us constantly trying to how I'm going to solve this type of problems. In this case, you see there the joint, the connection between these two, the interfaces between these two elements was applied, so sort of a membrane and also some silicone. Same thing here. So when it comes to this type of connections within those two elements, we see a lot of problems. The biggest one there is how you're going to seal these connections and how you're going to apply a solution that will have some longevity during these years, specifically on roof. We also have a couple examples in facade application as well. But in this case, most on roofs, since these materials will be completely exposure. So same thing here. This is sort of like a greenhouse construction, very common issue. So when you have the aluminum frame and how you're going to connect through the interfaces with the glass. Sorry. In this case, it was applied silicone between these interfaces, and where we see a lot of problems when it comes to silicone. So it's a very effective material. We all know how it works. But it has some limitations. In this case, UV resistance, so the material after a couple of months or a couple of years will start to dry out. You see here, oh, it's all dry. So the client tried to remove, and how I'm going to repair, how I'm going to install a material that also allows this type of movements. When you see here a lot of glass, it doesn't have much movement, but it has some. So we also need to be aware of what type of materials we're going to apply in this situation, because it needs to accommodate a couple of movement as well. As we all know, different materials, so contraction, expansion, it works in different way. Ricardo, I think this is some application regarding a client of yours. Can you share some information more here in this case?
Yes, João. Good morning to everyone. I know that some of you don't recognize me because of my new haircut, but
yeah.
I fell asleep in the barber yesterday.
I mean, we all have to get a trim. I got one last week. I made myself as well here at home.
Okay, be careful at home. So talking about these connections, aluminum, glass, yes, it's like you said, these materials, when you talk about glass or aluminum, when they start to expand the traditional solution, we are talking about silicon-based solution, they cannot keep up with expansion, with the movement, and they start to crack. And when we talk about glass, there's another important thing we need to say is that most of the silicon-based product, they don't adhere very well to glass. Most of them are not very compatible to glass. So we can expect that they will start to crack when they expand. So yes, when we have a structure like this that we wanted to have it at least for 20 years, the silicon base, we are lucky if it stands perfectly for even 2 years. We are very lucky. So yes, this is a problem that I deal with in a daily basis, and yes, I think the market is begging for a solution that can respond to adhering to glass and to keep up with the movement of the structures.
Yeah. Here we have another example. You see here again aluminum and this type of metal frame applied here. And in the solution we brought today, you see later that it could effectively just seal this point and make it completely waterproof in a very easy way. Here. So when we decided to brought up this theme, a connection between aluminum and glass, some of yours could might have thought that we mentioned this type of frames inside of the buildings, but we're more be focused today on this situation here. If you see here on the deck, on the top deck roof.
Yes. João, if you let me, in this type of situation, we are called most of the times because these things happens. We are putting these flashing details on the roof. These metallic structures, they are exposed to rain, to the sun, and it will get with a lot of corrosion. And most of the times, our solution, the solution that you will present today, is used for rehabilitate this type of metallic structures. We normally put the membrane on top of this, and it's not only waterproofing, but it protects this metallic structure from the corrosion, and it's very interesting for rehabilitation.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not only rehabilitation, but we also have some situations that even as a new build, so in
Yes.
order to protect, they already stall it. So we have some situation, of course, here when it's all deteriorated and are in a very bad state, and we were able to repair with no problem. But we have some as well approaches when it is even a new build, and they apply the solution to have even a huge longevity for the construction.
Yes, that's right.
So this is the solution. We call it Effisus Easy Heat Pair. So Easy Heat Pair is a membrane. It's used for sealing leaks in virtually pretty much any type of roof and facade connections. In this case, you see here how strong it is, the connection. In this illustration, you see like a polycarbonate, which is also a very, very difficult material to adhere. In comparison with glass, they're pretty much the same in a way that they're really hard to adhere. And we also have a lot of testing with this type of materials. Mar, could you please highlight us how this Easy Heat Pad works, how the technology is made?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, so today we are talking about a very innovative solution. It's really, really simple because it's just a membrane and we don't need anything else to apply it, to transport it, to anything. So how it works, it's a laminate membrane. So we have one layer of adhesive, and this adhesive has uh, this adhesive has a sealant and primer inside. So how it works, you only have to press the membrane when you apply it to activate the the sealant. So then it merged with the substrate. It's really, really easy. So when you apply it, these carbon atoms inside start to glue all the membrane with the material. So it's just it melts it. It's like a melt. If you see the page before, you see all the ceiling is completely
Yeah.
um, fixed with the substrate. And in this session, we are focused in glass, but as we can see, it's completely compatible with ceramic, metal, all kind of metal, aluminium, etc. Polycarbonate. This is really important because in the market we use a lot um, polycarbonate. So it's I think it's a perfect solution for all these joints.
Yeah, so just to talking a little bit more about this active sealing technology that we call it. So the membrane itself, it's composed with pretty much two materials. One is the outside coating, which is a TPO membrane, and then
Yeah.
the sealing itself. The sealing, it's very interesting because once you press, it sort of activate this process of sealing. And what it has inside are a little capsule that once you press, it sort of merge with
Yeah.
the substrate that you're applying. So this is pretty much, you see, when it comes to the application, this is the only thing you actually need to do. So it's remove like the foil
Yeah.
since it's a adhesive
Not
tape,
primer,
and then
not
you just
anything.
press it, and then you
Yeah.
just press it. As Mar was saying, it's compatible with many different materials. Those are the most common ones, but we of course have some
Yeah,
experience with other
and
materials as well.
yeah, and of course, the second layer, the TPO, it's resistant to the UVs and a really, really high temperature. We can see 93 degrees. So when normally it's exposed, as Ricardo said, to the weather and it's in the outside of the building. So this is really important, the temperature and the UV resistance.
Yeah. Here's some application examples. Again, we're focusing on aluminum and glass, but here just so you see how versatile it is the product, so you can apply it in all the situations. Skylight, flashing, threshold, carpet, walls, pretty much everything. Here some characteristics of the problem. So it's important to mention you don't need any accessories to apply this. The only one thing you might would need is like a scissor if you want just do patches or overlaps. We recommend to use like a silicone roll, but sometimes even by hand, some situations will be enough, and that's it. So in comparison to other solutions, for instance, like some people use like asphalt membranes, this type of coatings, and it's so difficult to apply in some situations. Even need like a welding and torch. Here you don't need anything. All you need it's just the membrane itself. It comes like in different hole roll sizes, and we were able to provide. I think starting at like 10 centimeters, something like that, and then multiples of 5 centimeters up to 1 meter, 1.20 meters. So a very wide range of products available as well. We have a couple colors as well. What are the colors?
Yeah, we have white, gray, and black. So it can mix with every decorative
Yeah.
solution.
Um, so here we have some guidelines in regards to the application. Mark, can you help us here?
Yeah, of course. Normally, we always say the standard and the perfect solution. We only perform 5 centimeters width, 2.5 to each part of the joint. But for a more comfortable and guarantee solution, we always perform 5 centimeters um, to distance to each part of the joint. So we only have to remove the protecting film. It's the adhesive. We apply gradually from the top to the bottom or one side to another. And we only press gently with a little pressure with hands to first of all activate the serum, and then we to be more assured, all the membrane and all the primer is active with the silicone roll. Yeah, we always say a silicone roll, and the membrane it's the accessories.
Yeah, and the only thing I would like to highlight here, you see in yellow, are those things. So the substrate must be clean, dry, and degrease it with any grease. And this is really important to application. So what we recommend is sometimes there which is very common. Some other products has been applied. So we recommend to remove, clean up the area. It's sometimes not even necessarily like a special cleaner or something like that, but we also able to provide a cleaner if it comes to that.
Yeah, it always depends on what was applied before.
They actually state
Yeah, sometimes it's a reparation. So when it's a reparation, normally before was applied something, but when it's at the beginning, it's just simple cleaning.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I like to add, sometimes there are some surface, like I can say polycarbonate or even glass, that this minimum of 2.5 centimeters must be studied by our Effisus consulting department, because there are surfaces that expand, that have a coefficient of expansion very high, and sometimes this 2.5 centimeters for each side isn't enough. So I say, if you have a surface that is polycarbonate or polycarbonate and aluminium or glass, that you send the details to João, and you will see if 2.5 centimeters it's the minimum, because there are some surfaces with expansion coefficient very high. And
Yeah. So the 2.5 are the minimum, and but yeah, to be careful, what we usually do is at least 5 for each side. So at 10 centimeters, it's the more common situation, or 15. It will depend.
Yeah, it depends. Yes.
So here we have the situation when you need to reinforce the area, when it's expecting a lot of movements between a joint. What we do is recommend to reinforce the area applying our 2-bond-ES tape, which is pretty much a easy heat membrane, but a double-sided, so it doesn't have the TPO membrane on it. So Mar, what exactly 2-bond-ES works here? What is the purpose of 2-bond-ES?
Yeah, in this case, it's what just Ricardo says. When the joint it's bigger than normal, or the movement of the vibration of the building expected, it's really high. We always apply the 2-bond-ES tape before, just to help these movements. It's going to be they don't provoke with time the break of the membrane, of the easy repair membrane. So with this, it's a protection. So it's completely compatible with all the systems as well, because it's the same product. So it's really helpful in this.
Yes.
In this,
Sorry, João.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
I have a situation previously when I have to put 2-bond-ES in this joint, because we have metal here and we have polycarbonate here, and there is a space between them, a little space. So what happened is the metal will work like this, the polycarbonate will work a lot like this, and this was very important to put here the 2-bond-ES, because it has a elasticity. Is very elastic. He can absorb the movements, and it's very important to protect the easy repair from this movement, this kind of movements.
And just to be clear, so the easy heat membrane, it does allow some movements. This is when you're expecting more than the usual. So it just to reassure, to reinforce that specific joint, that specific point. Again, that will depend on the situation, that will depend on the size of the joint, the gap you have there, what are the materials being applied. So this is very important. So previous the application, and you just send us a couple of details. Sometimes even just a photograph will be enough to us to evaluate and just have an idea what exactly the solution that you might need.
Yes.
And here, Mar, what we have here.
Yeah. In this case, it's when we have a different height between the application. So we have to follow all the perimeter, and we should apply this membrane without any air in the middle. So like in the corners. So we have to be very careful in the corners in order to not, because normally when we say something in the air, we always say, okay, press, and then it's this. No, we can do that because the membrane will break. So we should be gradually very careful, apply at the beginning with the corners, following the perimeter, and then in the corners, follow that, and don't press. If it is air, sometimes it is very difficult or complicated application. Sometimes we put as well in the corners sometimes we have a very sharp edges. We put in those zones as well Subon tape, just to protect, and again be very careful with that places.
Yeah, and here I think it's really important, this thing, because most of the materials, most of the common solution we found, they're not able to do this. So because of the flexibility of the membrane, the way you'll be applying, it could shape in this different situation. So this is very important, and I think it's one of the best characteristics of the product itself, because we have some situation which is just a plain application, horizontally, but we do have some applications that you will need to do this type of corners. Again, as Mark was saying, so just to be careful when you have sharp edges, and this is we recommend as well to apply a strip or the tube on the tape. Again, just to make sure that we will not cut, or this sharp edge will not danificate the membrane itself. And here's some application. This is the first example that we're showing in the beginning, that skylight. And as you see here, so again, as I mentioned, it comes in rows. So all you have to do is cut, clean the substrate, and apply over the joint. In this case, we'll use the silicone row as well for the process. Ricardo, based on your experience, how fast, how easy it is to do this?
Oh, very easy. If we were going to compare this solution to the traditional ones, it's more efficient and more simple, as we said before. They simply, in this case, we have to position the membrane in the middle, to 2.5 centimeters for each side, like Mars said previously too, and it's only taking off the filming protection of the adhesion part, and apply it. It's very simple. Like we can see here, it's only necessary to take the silicone roll and the tape, maybe a scissor, like you said, and it's very simple. It's very, from my experience, our clients normally they are very surprised with the simplicity. They are no temperature. No, it's not needed temperature. It's only needed pressure in the membrane to let the primer seal. And it's very interesting to present this product normally.
Yeah, what we see also, Ricardo, is like most of the clients, they always carry out like a roll of easy repair, and
Yes.
a lot of situations that the client just have like in a car, just carrying a roll of it. And since the product is very versatile, you can apply to pretty much everything. Just a patch, you see like a leaking, something a very punctual situation. So you just go over there, pick up like a piece of the product, or the membrane, and you apply it over. It's just like
It adheres very simply, and with a lot of efficiency. It's very interesting.
So we have here a couple of questions. Henry is asking, which colors do you have available? You already answered that, Henry. Thank you for the question. So we have black, gray, and white. We do also have a easy heat bed paint option, which is an option that you can use some paint to cover up. The only downside on that, the easy heat bed paint, is just you will lose the TPO foil. So if it's really necessary to apply a paint over it, you need to make sure that this paint will also have some UV protection.
Yes.
John is asking, can I use a concrete expansion joint? Yeah, John, again, we need to see how are the joints we're working. Some case we do recommend not only apply the membrane, but you can have like a baker rod in this suspension joint, and then you apply the membrane on top of it. But yeah, you can use that for sure. Here, this is not application. You see here this interfaces between, this is sort of like a skylight window. You have aluminum, you have glass, and again, same thing. You just can just bend over and apply it the way you want it, the material. Here is a facade application. We have this. This is out of the scope that we've been talking. So not aluminum, but I mean not glass. But you see there on this interface, the aluminum interfaces, stainless steel interfaces. So you just, if you can seal those type of points, and even inside here as well. Again, as you can apply to roof, facades, pretty much everything. And here is pretty much like a final solution applied to glass. And here is very nice, very well done job. So it even gave like a nice aspect, a nice look to it. So here is missing some part of the application, as you see here. And this will be the next step of the application. As you see here, you have a couple of screw, couple perforation. What we recommend in this case is also to apply a patch of the same tape we discussed. The two Bondi S, so it's like a 5x5, depending on the size of the screw. And then you just apply it over the easy band membrane.
Yes, João.
We do also recommend just to replace this type of screws for a flat head screw, and in some cases, of course, to not damage the membrane. Yes, Ricardo, go ahead.
Sorry, I like talk a lot about this image because it not only it's an efficient solution, but in this image we can see that it gives a lot of beauty to the site. I think this kind of roof it gets more beautiful, not only efficient but a very nice details that we have here. And like I said, we saw in these parts that not have the membrane very corroded these parts, and the membrane will protect these parts from corrosion. So it's very interesting. We see the static part and the efficient part alive in this solution.
Yeah. So the rows come, I think they're like 15 meters, correct? And so the thing is here, the client were able to pretty much apply in one go. It started with one row. If you see here in this type of application, so in one go, of course, we're moving gradually and apply. This is well done like just in a couple hours. I can't even imagine how it could have been done with something else different in this material. So again, easy application, very durable, UV stable, 100% watertight. I think it's an excellent solution. So here are my contacts. Thank you for joining us today once again. If you have any question, feel free to contact me. If it's something more specific, I'll be glad to forward that to our technical department, to Mar. She will look into it, and she can provide. Of course, we can provide a solution for any detail you have. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Mar.
Thank you, João.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.